Hey Nymfam, welcome back to my team selection video in a week where we had an Arsenal, Aston Villa thriller and Liverpool came back to life. If you're loving the content then please do drop a like on this video. Let's try and get 100 likes, that would be amazing. Do pop me a comment below what shocked you about last game week. And lastly, if you're new to the channel then please do subscribe, become a ride or die, you're really helping me out. Okay, let's get into this. Kepa has frustratingly dropped off the past 2 game weeks. I mean, I need that game week 20 to game week 22 epic goalkeeper back. ASAP, are you guys with me on that? Moving on to my defence, and it's looking much like the Newcastle defensive reign has come to an end, sadly, especially with that Pope red card. Just 1 point from Trips in an already disappointing week. Trippier, I really needed you, man. Where are you? And now he's got a blank up next, so won't be anything next week either. Shaw kept a clean sheet. Glad I kept hold of him the last 2 game weeks when it could have been easier to get off. His points have been much needed in a slow week. 6 points really help. And Kilman completed my defence. I mainly got him for the double game week, but I had hoped looking at these few fixtures he could play a couple leading up to it. I only put him in this week and well, I was wrong. He conceded against Bournemouth and now I'm a little worried what that means for the double game week for him. In midfield, it's safe to say only one man let me down, and yes, you're right, yet again, it's that man Pep. Completely pepped me yet again. Benched Mahrez, didn't even allow him to come on for a few minutes, meaning I got Andreas 3 points off of the bench. Look, you know what? Andreas never does anything for me, like anything at all, whenever I need him off of the bench. He always tends to score or assist when he's planted firmly on my bench and is never getting on. So a little bit disappointed. Would have loved a little something from him to help out where Mahrez couldn't, but we'll take the 3 points. I am a little concerned now about Pep Roulette and Mahrez, and I'll have a real headache on whether or not to keep him. A little bit about that, more in my team selection a little bit later in the video. Newcomer Odegaard finally got me some points. I am reeling a little from that epic miss, not only as an Odegaard owner, but as an Arsenal fan. You know what, that would have been an epic goal. However, I have to say, as soon as he got involved in the game, in the second part of that match is really when Arsenal came to life. He changed that game around despite that miss. So I'll take the assist and 3 bonus points. We need more of that going forward. Please, Martin, please. And where Martin shone in the second half, little Chilly Saka was our saviour in the first half. He took a hefty knock though, which meant he was struggling a fair bit in the second half of that match. In fact, his not tracking back was the reason for the second Everton goal. So hopefully he's okay, with a lot of games to come for Arsenal. For now, we'll take the 6 points and hope that he's good and move on. Lastly, I don't know what else there is to say about Rashford that I haven't already said. It just feels like it's rolling naturally off the tongue. The guy is on fire. 2 goals and a clean sheet for 15 points is absolute madness. If only I had been brave enough to go with that captaincy shout that I mentioned in last game week's video. Gutted. Up front, Captain Haaland was AWOL. Really was hoping for something against Nottingham Forest from him. You know what? 2 points just does not feel like enough. Kane looked lackluster yet again. Very deep, walking instead of chasing back. Just awful. Yet he somehow managed an assist for Sonny. He did seem to be more like himself when Sonny came on the pitch. Problem is, even with that assist for 5 points, it had absolutely no impact on my rank whatsoever. I was on a tiny red arrow, a -2 before that Spurs game. Thought the assist might just sneak me into a green arrow. Unfortunately, it was not enough from Kane. I really needed a goal there. And lastly, just to complete my less than underwhelming front line, Nketiah was yet again absent, unable to get any returns, and with Nelly finishing that goal late on in the match, there is a possibility Eddie gets a rest in the next match for Nelly, and that does mean that there could be some rotation. I don't want it to be the case, but it definitely could happen, especially with all our games so squidgy together. All of that means I have 54 points, placing me on a tiny red arrow to 56,540. This was mainly due to the people around me owning the likes of Bruno, the odd Rashford captaincy still hanging around because I was on a green arrow on Saturday evening. So people who stayed on Bruno and people who still had their captaincy on Rashford just knocked me from that green to a red, really. So moving on to Game Week 25, and this is how I'm currently lining up. It is not great, to be honest with you guys, going into a blank double. I have a fair few options this week on account of the 2 free transfers saved up from last game week. And I guess the big question here is it time for Mo Salah? And who do I remove for him if it is? Because with Odegaard and Saka both having a double, I'm not going to remove them unless I hear any need otherwise. With 0.3 in Rashford, plus his form, and me wanting him back next game week, and me having 3 up front currently, I think the most likely candidate to lose for a double game week midfielder here is Mahrez. Look, I do not want to lose this guy ahead of Bournemouth if I knew he was nailed to play. But with the Champions League back in the fold again, and our current knowledge that we know Pep likes to play him in that, he looks like a rotation risk. So Mahrez to Salah or Gakpo seems the move here. There's a little niggle in me that Foden didn't play so good last game week, so Pep could well now consider that Mahrez has been rested and he will play him in the Champions League and in the Premier League on the weekend. But I guess I'm trying to edge my bets here a little with 2 fixtures in Salah or Gakpo, hopefully to Mahrez's 1 with minutes risk. If I want to do Mahrez to Salah though, I am 0.1 off annoyingly, so Trippier or Shaw to Tark would help accommodate getting Salah in. The only annoying thing is the amount of money I have in both of those players if I want them back. So if I want Trippier or Shaw back, it's really going to cost me a lot of money to do that. I do have less money in Shaw than I do in Trippier, hence me putting Tarko in for Shaw at the moment. The other consideration is this, it's Kane to Darwin. If we get news that his shoulder is okay, and then we could do Mahrez to Gakpo or Salah again for free. I like this a lot, but I would be playing Patterson alongside Kilman and Aki at the back, which I hate, as I just don't know Patterson is going to get back in time and get any minutes, especially as Everton have been so solid with the back line that they have currently, and I'm really unsure I can count on Aki considering the Pep roulette at the moment. So I probably have to take a -4 here then to get Trent or Tarkowski in my back line to try and strengthen it up. The other question is, am I happy to lose Kane in this particular situation? I'd only be 100% happy to do that, I think, if I knew that Darwin was good, that we've seen him playing midweek and that shoulder was looking fine, then he would be a consideration. Otherwise, I think it's going to get a little bit iffy as to whether I want to sell Kane, who does tick over. He's not doing fantastically, but he is ticking over. If Darwin is fine, I am happy to do it for the extra fixtures and obviously to make sure I get Kane back for the coming game weeks. However, as I say, if there's any unsurety at all in Darwin, then I'm likely not going to do it. So in all honesty, I think Mahrez to Salah or Gakpo is pretty nailed for me. Likely Salah just to cover those captaincy options where people will be considering Salah and Saka. They will be pretty split, I think. So I think getting Salah covers any issues there as much as I would love now to be the time for me to get Gakpo. There is a way I could do it where I could get Gakpo in for Rashford, but then I am really using up all of my budget and I will want Rashford back, so it feels like a very short-sighted move. So, as I say, Mahrez to Salah looking pretty nailed, and then I'll seek some information on Darwin midweek for a Kane to Darwin move. Then I will think on which defensive move I'm going to make, because it does look like I am going to have to shore up that defence in some way. Let me know what you guys would do in the comments below. My captaincy is on Saka at the moment. I want to make sure he's over his knock completely, and I want another look at Salah in the Champions League, but it will definitely be between one of those two, Saka or Salah. And you know, just like me, like the Rashford and Haaland choice last game week, I'll probably get it wrong. And that's it, you guys. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the content, then please do like, become a ride or die and subscribe to the channel. You're really helping me out. We're all mates here. Please do feel free to check out the sponsors of this video, fantasyfootballfix.com. Until next time, Nymphria out.